good, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Full Circle. I'm your host, as always, Harmon Jr. Please feel free to find me at Harmon Jr. And real quick, people, before we get started, yes, I'm on a new Nintendo podcast, Toast to a Boardroom. Go follow that. No, I did not cancel this podcast. Some people have asked me. I know it's been 2 weeks, but I promise y'all it's been crazy. One, getting a new podcast set up that took a while. Two, our 200 episodes coming up, and I got a very extremely special guest for y'all, but scheduling has been crazy with that. And then I know we're going to have our Chip and Dale special, but my guest for that, because of the events that happened here in Texas, just it was a little close to home, things didn't work out. She and her family's okay, but just, sometimes things happen, it's out of our control. But no, I promise people, we still here, still rocking with y'all. So apologize for that. But don't worry, we're back from that slight hiatus, and I got a great guest this week. You might have seen him, right in front of them big outlets out there, getting them bylines, as we say in this industry. I want to welcome to the show, Kenneth Seward Jr. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, man. I'm a junior. You're a junior. Honestly, I'm ashamed it took this long. We got to look out for each other.
No, I feel you. It's hard having guests sometimes. I think that people get a little misconstrued. They think, oh, you go in every week, you got to have a guest. And, sometimes schedule, like you were just talking about, the schedules get, kind of wonky. And, what I'm saying? It's hard to get, people on the show each time, for each show. And so it wasn't so much of that. It was like, when's the perfect time? And this is the perfect time. So we good.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. And kid, if I know that this may sound crazy to you, but there might be some people out there that don't know who you are. So just in case, for that small percentile of people, who are you and what do you do?
Hey, so yeah, I'm a freelance writer. I've been writing, just to kind of jump through it pretty quick. I've been writing for about 16 years, I want to say. I started writing at a smaller site, and I want to say within a month, we ended up going to E3 and covering big shows like that. And then this was when I was actually in college. Fast forward a little bit, we started our own website, me and friends of mine, called United Front Gaming. And that's where you see, like, on Twitter and everything, UFG, that's where that comes from. And we had a bit of success, but then I want to say at the beginning of the pandemic, we kind of shut things down just with how things were going. It was too tough to kind of keep up and freelance and do other things that we're trying to do. And, as a lot of people know, the pandemic kind of hit hard in terms of marketing and stuff like that. So trying to turn that corner was kind of rough. So we decided to kind of lay low in that regard and then branch off into other places. But since then, I've been writing for IGN, GameSpot, EGM now, Fanbyte, just so many different places, and trying to just branch out and show that not just my site, but I am also an worthy asset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In hopes of getting a full-time gig potentially. We also started a podcast. Me and my co-host, cousin Law Tess. What up, Tess? Called the Gamecast, and we'll talk about games, anime, movies, etc. And so, yeah, just been kind of grinding for the most part.
Man, that's what's up. As someone who's been in that position for, many years myself, I understand what it's like. And, I understand, like, a lot of people don't understand. I feel like when they be like, oh, I write for IGN, GameSpot, and the others, like say Fanbyte, a lot of people think, oh, yeah, that's the freelance thing. That's just like people, you don't like to even get that far is an accomplishment. Like it's a lot of thankless nights, a lot of work and stuff. And then, and I always say, man, when you make it to E3, especially basically on a freelance budget, like, ain't no one, like, you grinding, it's sun up. So it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and tell you, like, oh, man, it's so hard being at E3. It's fun. But, like, at the end, like, when the fun stops, you still got to, the work still keep going. You got to be with it.
So it's a lot of work. Definitely.
Yeah. But, hey, man, you doing your thing. And I wish you all of the success. And today he's going to show you his journalistic ability, as we're going to be talking about Sonic Frontiers. Yes, people, IGN's got the IGN first, then drop some gameplay, then drop some footage. We getting to see some stuff, a little excited, a little nervous, but we'll see. Open World's been working for a lot of people. So well, maybe Sonic can do it too. Before that, we're gonna be talking about Street Fighter 6, people. Yes, it is here. We got gameplay, we got footage, we got some weird story city mode. I don't know, bro. It is a lot going on. We got Auntie Chung Lee. Ooh wee, ooh wee, but more on that a little bit. But first and foremost, we're gonna start with the Sony State of Play that happened earlier last week. You know, Sony. I'm not gonna lie, Kim, my man, like I thought it was gonna be weak. I was like, man, you know, we're getting into the E3 month, you know, Summerfest, whatever you want to call it, E3, non-E3. I know a lot of people say we shouldn't say that because E3's dead. We're taking away marketing from other things, but I mean, it is what it is. That's just what it is. It's E3 month. What E3 should have been. We getting the big thing. So I was like, man, the State of Play this early, we ain't gonna see nothing of that, man. I was like, I guess this is their E3 presentation because they came out swinging, man. What did you think overall? Before we get to nitty gritty, what would you give this presentation in terms of announcement, new stuff, all that good stuff?
I thought it was dope, and honestly, I don't think it's their E3 presentation. I think this was like, let's get this stuff out of the way so we can show the more Sony stuff. And I could be wrong. It could be, you know, the Summerfest comes around and Sony has nothing to show, which I think this is something like, you know, they'll have shows that are like, you know, bogged down with like a lot of things that, not that they're bad, like indie games and stuff like that aren't bad, but, you know, Sony's trying to sell consoles. And so, you know, God of War, like everybody's been talking about God of War, the next one that's coming out, Ragnarok, and I'm sure that's something that they would like to show if they can, even though that's, you know, it's been delayed. And so for me, was like, let's get all the smaller stuff out of the way. Let's get, you know, the indie stuff out of the way. Let's get, and not to say those are bad games, but just so we have the big, you know, AAA home run stuff later. But overall, I thought it was really good. Like I liked majority of what I saw during the show, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what's going down.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that. You know, if you were right, and this was like getting the small stuff out the way, oh man, I don't know what I mean. I mean, they could have like some God of War nonsense, and that could just be it. You know, God of War is big enough to be it. But I'm hoping, you know, assuming they got something more in the way, it's not like Last of Us remastered for the umpteenth time along with. I mean, that would be dope, but it's like, bro, I played the game. I bought the remaster on PS4. I'm probably ain't gonna buy the one on PS4 unless it's like Resident Evil style remaster, where like, bro, this is fundamentally a different game.
Right.
You know, I'm out. But yeah, like I thought, because I agree. Like I'm on the fence really. Like I'm 50-50 because of what they showed. I'm like, man, this could be it. But I'm also like, it's so early because, you know, Nintendo just had like, it seems too early to just be everything. But I'm hoping they didn't just save like one thing, because, you know, we got Final Fantasy 16 gameplay. You know, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. You know, we got a Stray release date. You know, we got Tunic coming to PlayStation, which we knew we knew it would in September, I believe. You know, we got we got a lot of PSVR 2 stuff. That's a mouthful. And then and then we got Street Fighter 6, which I was like, bro, if you're having like a main announcement, I would have saved that. But hey, man, you gotta get that buzz going, you know, early. And I guess for you, what was the biggest surprise? Me, it was Street Fighter 6. Like, I did not expect to see none of that game at all.
For me, I think it was Resident Evil. Because I knew, I had an inkling that Street Fighter would show up. Not necessarily at the Sony thing, but I had an inkling like, okay, they're going to show a little bit of gameplay. They've been itching to show this. But Resident Evil, it was kind of like, yeah, it's rumored. We want this to happen. And the last time Capcom said anything about Resident Evil, it was the VR game. And it was kind of like we know you want this, but we're going to give you this, you know, type of thing. Yeah. So I was like, oh, we're going to get, because you know what happened with, you know, Final Fantasy Remake? Over the years, we kept getting like, you know, like we thought we were going to get it one year, then we didn't. And then there was like, oh, this is a remake, but not the remake we thought it was going to be. So I was thinking something along those lines, even though those are two different companies. I was like, are we really going to get a remake this year, or even have a trailer for it? And then when it came up as the first thing, I was like, oh, snap. They came out swinging. All right, then. I see you. So, yeah, that was, for me, Resident Evil. I'm a big Resident Evil fan. And so Resident Evil 4 was one of the pinnacle games in this series because it changed a lot of things. And so having the remake come and being something along the lines of what Resident Evil 2 remake was and 3, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm a sideline Resident Evil fan. I'm one of those. I can't do spooky when it comes to games. Like my nerves get bad. I throw the controller type thing. But I like it from like I fundamentally like it like for what it does for the genre and stuff. So like if I got a homeboy or something, I'll watch them play. Be like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'll come over and like I'll cooperate with you in spirit type thing.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah, because I love the Resident Evil remake series in terms of what a remake is, because those are games you can point to, like because we had things like Crash and Spyro, but I feel like those are, I don't want to say easy, but like you get you gloss it up and stuff, but like these are fundamentally from mechanically different. I'm like, this is how you remake a beloved old game. Like you take what it was, you put it in the new, if possible. Something like Crash Bandicoot. I feel like it's simple. It needs to kind of be what it was. It doesn't need to be like some Mario Odyssey type thing going on.
Right.
But Resident Evil, I'm just like, I really hope companies take note, because I'm like, this is how you do it. Like, even though I ain't gonna play it, I'm like, this is how you do it. It looks dope. I was like, bro, this mug is scary. Like, I was watching my roommate play Remake 2, and I was like, bro, nah, man, I can't. It's too much. It's too much. I know the Resident Evil games though, they do get to a point where it's like it gets cartoony. Like the first half is always like hardcore horror, but then you get into like the lab stuff, and then it becomes just like a regular shooter. Like the monsters stop being scary and start just being like, like, oh, it's just something you need to shoot and don't let it get close to you.
Right. I wish they wouldn't do it as much with the later Resident Evils, like Resident Evil Village that came out last year, because I think it takes away from some of the atmosphere, but at the same time it eases people in. Like if you're way up here in terms of like anxiety playing that game, once you get to those points, it's like, all right, cool, this is where I can do this part. I can shoot everybody and be okay with it, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to lurking around the corner and looking for zombies and you know what I'm saying. I get it. But at the same time, I think that, well, hopefully this new Resident Evil will be a little bit more like 2, where the horror is stretched out a little bit more, where they put a little bit more into the story, the characters and whatnot, because there's a lot of things. Even though Resident Evil is great, it's also like a film come to life in ways in terms of storytelling and characters. So I hope they kind of help with that as well. I don't want them to take all the goofy away, but a little bit more scary, going into it.
Yeah, like my thing is like less goofy, but that keep that same level of cheese. That cheese in this, it just be like, oh man, I think he's dead. It's like, oh yeah, bro, he gone. I don't know what to tell you. We got the Stray announcement, which honestly I didn't think we was gonna get. I thought it was just another trailer, but it's coming a lot sooner. I hope Stray slaps. Like I'm not a cat person, but the game does look dope. But I'm like, you know what I mean? It's certain indie games or just games in general where you're like, bro, this kind of has to slap. Like it can't just be okay. And Stray can be okay and it'll still be cool. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I want it to slap. I need it to slap. I hope it does. I mean, it looks dope. I mean, Annapurna, I mean, they usually do good stuff, so I ain't worried. And another surprise to me was the Castillo Protocol, only because I was like, is this Dead Space 3? Yeah, this is Dead Space 3. Right? This got to be Dead Space 3. And it was like, nope. And I'm like, nah, bro, this is Dead Space 3.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's because I want to say some of the original developers on Dead Space are working on that game, and it threw me because we're getting a Dead Space remake, and so I was like, is this Dead Space? But then when I saw the orange jumpsuit, I was like, no, it's that other game. So yeah, I was happy to see that as well, and it looks good. Like it looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that when it drops as well. With Stray, here's my thing, right?
All right,
and not to be that guy. Not to be that guy.
You're gonna be that guy, but you're not that guy. Got you.
Right. I like indie games, but I think that we want something different so bad that we're just okay with mediocre sometimes. And not to call out any particular game, but there's been some indie games that I played as of late where they're getting a lot of praise, getting a lot of, someone like, oh, I gotta play this game. And I did, and I was like, it's okay. It's serviceable. Or the worst thing happened where I was like, you know what? I want to play the game that it's emulating. I want to go play the Zelda. I want to go play the whatever because it doesn't anything new, and the things that it does bring are kind of eh. And so looking at Stray, I'm like, I really hope it's good. I hope, you know, because all we've been getting so many trailers and like, not to say that the hype has died down, but I feel like I'm ready for it to come out now. Like I'm tired of looking at trailers. Like let's just play the game and see if it's good or not. Because that's how I felt about Tunic. Unfortunately, I was like, Tunic is kind of dope. I love the visuals, and then after beating it, I'm like, it's 100% forgettable for me.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
dang.
it just and that's no slight to developers. That's no slight to anybody who loves the game. Shout out to all. But after playing it, and to be fair, I played it after Elden Ring, so that was my bad. But like, because I played Elden Ring, and I was like, I need something not Elden Ring. I need something not open world because that was 90 hours of my life that I can't get back. Let me play Tunic, this cute like Zelda type game, and yeah, no, it's a good game, but it's not what I thought it was going to be, and so I'm hoping that Stray is a bit better in that regard.
Yeah. Just real quick on Tunic. I love Tunic. It doesn't reinvent the wheel or nothing. I love that what it set out to do, it did with the whole, like, it doesn't really tell you. You got to figure it out from, like, old school manuals and, like, and I love that game on a fundamentals level because it provided me something like, you've gamed for years, you get it, we get it. Like, jump this, cut that. Oh, that wall has a crack. I'm gonna bomb that. Oh, right. There's this. And Tunic, it's hard that a game can put me in a mind state of I don't know what I'm doing, but in a good way. There's games like, bro, I don't know what I'm doing because this is bad game design.
Right.
But this was like when I figured out how to upgrade. It was like, oh, you pray, you I'm like, oh, bro, that's dope. Like, because I was literally wondering, I wonder how you get stronger. And I'm like, oh, and like. It was pieces of the puzzle, and I really like that. I feel post game, like you beat the game, and then like you get the ending, but then like you gotta get all the pages to beat the game. And I was like, all right, that's to me, that's when it got like, bro, I had to get a guide. I was like, bro, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I found like 3 fairies on my own, and then I was like, it's guide time, bro. Cause this some cryptic stuff. I was like, first of all, I hate The Witness. Like, I hate that game. I know it got 10 out of 10.
Oh, man.
I do not get it. We're not here to talk about that, but I do not get The Witness. I played the game, but I do not get what everyone else saw. Cause it was just a headache at some point. I needed Advil. But Tunic basically, spoiler alert, people, becomes The Witness at some point, and I was just like, all right, I'm out. But on a fundamental level, what is it? I loved it just because it's hard to get that feeling again. But I feel like most indie games I look forward to needs to be like Death's Door. Like, I feel like Death's Door is good because it's not necessarily bringing nothing new. Like you said, we just want something different and then just want to call that good. Death's Door doesn't bring anything new, but it's just a solid ass game. And I feel like that's what I want from my indie game. You don't necessarily have to be Journey. I don't have to have a spiritual experience playing you. If I do, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? More power to you. But sometimes it just needs to be like, yo, bro, this is like a Zelda like dungeon crawler game. We got a dope story, dope themes, and like, we got a dope pose. Like that's all I really need. Just, because I always tell people, Nintendo excels. Look at Mario. They're fundamentally good games. They're just fun to play. And I figure, I will forgive so much if your game is just fun to play. Like, I'm just having fun. It's just good. Like, that feeling of like, I get off work and I'm like, bro, let me hop in this and, knock out an hour or two.
Right.
And I don't know if we'll get that from Stray. I mean, I'm hoping we do, but I'm leaning more towards what you said. Like, it's just something different and, atypical gameplay. It must be wonderful. I love cats, which I don't want to say that to no one. Like, if you love cats, cool. But like, I see a lot of people. I'm like, bro, like I love dogs, but just because your game you're a dog don't mean I'm sold.
Right, exactly. I need a little bit more. Right, facts.
Yeah, but just moving on real quick. Let's just hop into it. Street Fighter 6 is coming out, and I tweeted about this, and I'm pretty sure you saw that tweet. All right, people. All right, Ken, I think you can agree with this. Most people will consider Street Fighter Third Strike probably the best Street Fighter, if not the best, at least number 2.
I think, to be honest, Street Fighter Third Strike is the best fighting game. I have
Oh,
not found I have not found a better. I think there are a few that get up there, I think, but I haven't found one that's better than Third Strike in
ooh.
terms of like competitive and balancing and the characters that are in it. Um, I think that this Street Fighter looks, even though visually it looks different, I think it looks like it's going to be another Third Strike, and I'm super amped for that. Like if that's the case,
Oh yeah, bro. The similarities don't stop. Hip hop soundtrack. Third Strike has a little more jazzy. I don't know if we're gonna go that, but definitely hip hop soundtrack and hip hop thematically in the culture and stuff. Just like Third Strike was. It went beyond the music. How they stood, how they postured themselves, how the arenas looked. Even when you're
right?
going like to Japan, they all had that vibe to it. This game does it with, we saw the two new characters. I'm gonna say new, but I've learned in Street Fighter, ain't nobody ever truly knew. It was like this dude was in Street Fighter Alpha School Edition days, one Death's Ox, and it's like, bro, I don't know how I'm supposed to know that. So new asterisk, because someone's about to tell me like, well, Odell, you also didn't play Street Fighter VR, the arcade cabinet only in Japan. Scrub journalist.
Right.
So new to me, we saw the drunken fist style guy, and I don't know, generic fighter bro, ABC. Bro, that's what it was.
Right.
His name was like Cody, Kyle, Paul, something like that. I don't know want to
Yeah,
look up
Kevin.
his name because I'm a ruin it for me, but but yeah, man. The
Yeah.
thing is, if you look we now have like your super meter you can do your generic super, or but now you can use your super meter to do like a super reversal, a super defensive thing. I don't know if the super defense can block an actual super, but yeah, so I'm like, I like that, that you can, and they look stylistically, they look amazing. It looks like a blend of the Street Fighter, forward brushstroke mixed in with like it's kind of the V trigger system, but also like just our whole new thing, and I kind of like it. It just kind of erases all of Street Fighter Five off the map in my mind. It seems like we're carrying nothing from that game, so kudos to
Yes.
that. But one of the big major changes, we're now gonna have simple combos now. Like I don't know how that's gonna work. You can not, I don't want to say one button press supers, but you can do directional, you know button input. There's now a simplified control scheme, and I'm curious
Right.
how that's going to turn competitive fighting, basic fighting, because it's still viable, and so I'm really curious to see how that's going to work in a Street Fighter game. I don't think they've ever done that before, to my knowledge.
I think Capcom's tried this with their Marvel vs. Capcom series, and it has mixed results because I think Capcom thinks that to get people onboarded fighting, you have to reduce the or change the button inputs, and to an extent that I think the problem is the mechanisms like what goes into the fighting. They haven't solved that part in order to onboard new players yet. A good example of this is actually Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive has like two tier or two levels of play where you can jump into the game and be a new player and learn learn how to play and just understand how to play a fighters with when it comes to their training and how they kind of guide you along that path. And there's I don't say like a basement, but a place like the casual people to kind of come in and have a ton of fun doing all these amazing moves and actually understanding what they're doing. And then at the same time, there's a high ceiling. So we have the experts or the people who've been playing Guilty Gear for years. They get in and they jump right to the top and they only fight each other. They have this nice tier system where the people who are just kind of jumping in because it looks anime, it has these amazing graphics and all that stuff. You're fighting with each other, and then more the pros are fighting with each other on another side, and so along with their training and how they separate the groups, they make it via everybody. You don't have to be afraid to jump online without getting because you're going to get smashed because someone who's been playing for so long. This is a new game to you. With Street Fighter, it boils down to their training. If they have a dope training mode that actually walk through this stuff, I think casual people would jump in. Relying just on simple button impresses, input or whatever. This would be great in terms of maybe accessibility. This would be great in terms of new players who are looking at a move list and think, oh, this is mad daunting. I don't know if I can do these things. In terms of getting the casual audience into this game because it looks amazing. You have to teach them like, okay, what does it mean to play footsie? What are frame counting? And make it, where they can understand it, and then they can actually jump into a match and feel good about the fights. Just changing the controls, that's not going to do it. Hopefully, that's more to that though, because they even showed like they're showing that they're changing because they had it looked like a adventure mode, like they had someone walking around and like fighting people in the streets and whatnot. You know what I mean? So they're actually adding a story mode. That's something that will be kind of geared towards casual players, and so I think they're thinking that way, but hopefully more so than just the controls.
Oh yeah, most definitely because I've played different just fighting games with something like that, and I'm thinking if it's something as like your super becomes like like you can execute it when you want. I think if it becomes things where like the technical stuff will always be the technical stuff, but if it's simple as like, look, you're trying to do your Hadouken super instead of like the most precision that it's just like back up down down press square and he'll do it. I'm like I can see that work because that wouldn't necessarily change the flow of the game. You know what I'm saying? It would just be
correct.
Because mentally it would just be like, okay, he did the thing I wanted him to do when he do it. Now that doesn't mean I did it at the right time or I got the okie doke. So I like you said, I really hope it depends on how far they're really taking it. Because I have played games where you have the simple control scheme, but then you lose your ability to basically be a good fighter. It's like okay, yeah, I could do one button Hadoukens, but now I can't like cancel or I can't step into it or now I can't combo it into anything. So now like I'm just kind of stuck because if you lose your ability to combo juggle or like let me switch it up on the fly, then the second you play anyone who quasi knows what they're doing, you're about to just get wrecked.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the it's good to be able to do it because you don't want newer players to struggle getting a move out, when they want to, but you want them to know when to get as well at the very least. And so yeah, you want to educate them on that because fighting games, if you've never played a fighting game before, they are not the easiest things to understand. Like there's a lot of button mashing and maybe you'll do something amazing via the button mash, but when you go up against someone who, who's been playing for years, you're not gonna have fun. You're not gonna have fun. Even with like
end all be all.
Right, you're just not gonna have fun. So I hope they actually take the time to like, okay, we're gonna walk you through this. Yeah, these are easy inputs, but this is how you block. This is how you counter. This is how you parry. This is how you know what I'm saying? Like, get all that stuff out the way.
Yeah, bro. And speaking of parrying, bro, it looks like the parry system is back. Yes. It looks like because we're talking. You basically say Street Fighter 3. You haven't Third Strike. Haven't found like a fighting game better than that. And also, I'm like, it's importance to the culture, bro. Like, we all know the Evo moment. Like,
yes,
we all know the Evo moment, and like without that moment, without Third Strike, I dare say Evo probably couldn't be what it is today. Like people who didn't even know what fighting game scene was know that moment. And like I look and I'm just like mentally I'm like they have to be doing this on purpose. They have to know where Third Strike sits. They have to know the similarities they're doing. And I'm like I've been wanting a parry system for a long time because I'm not gonna lie, like the quasi semi parry systems, like I'm never a fan of in a game. Like I never when games go like, oh, we want to be different. So this ain't a parry system. This is like a soft parry or like a I'm just like no, just make a parry. Just do it. Like it ain't that complicated because I hate learning. I hate having to unlearn something to learn something new for it to just come back. It's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like Hadouken doesn't need to be like back quarter circle now. Like,
Right.
But yeah, it's just everything we see. And of course, we never know but it seems like they've learned from their mistakes, but bro, the aging process, like that's another thing crazy. Ryu and Chun-Li, and I assume everyone, OG, they're older, they are considerably older, they still looking good, they fight for a living. But I'm like, okay, we have agency in the Street Fighter world, you know what I'm saying? We have evolved essentially.
I'm hoping that this takes place because the Street Fighter Street Fighter 4 and 5 are prequels. So I'm hoping this is actually equal to Street Fighter 3, considering how older they are. because that allows for other characters to come back. That allows for new characters we've never seen, which is kind of what we're getting. It allows for different things, and so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Have you seen Ken? Ken looks a little rough. Like, like
Oh
he's
man,
been through some stuff.
I actually I didn't even know they showed. Man, I'm about to look him up right now.
You know how, like, people like are data mining and whatnot, and I saw saw some stuff on Twitter. I don't know if this is 100% how he's gonna look, but he does not look like the Ken we remember. I'll put it at that. Like,
Okay.
he's gone through some changes, and Ryu is looking a little bit better, looking a little better, right now. But yeah, Chung Li. I think I also like, from a visual standpoint, I like the ink style that's now kind of like graffiti, and I love how it isn't just around the characters. There's a part where I don't know if it was a parry or some type of move, but the ink splash, like, it went everywhere. It actually landed on the ground, like, in 3D. It wasn't just part of the move, and it actually stained the ground. And I was like, it's just a small thing, but I'm like, that is freaking phenomenal. Like, it kind of brings you into the environment more, because usually it's just, you fall and someone tumbles in the background. There's no really interaction or anything like that. They're just cool backgrounds. But to have the ink actually splatter on walls and stuff, that's pretty neat. Like, that's a cool thing to be doing.
Oh yeah, man. Okay, so people don't go look this up because this, potential spoiler warning. But I'm looking at the link and I'm the leak, the possible leak, and I'm like, yo, these new characters though. The old characters look, I see, Ken looks a little gruff. He looks like bro, like, man, like, who he looks like someone's like, bro, where's my money, bro? I got a mortgage and a family. That's
Right?
yeah, and I'm assuming it looks like this is like DJ. I'm not sure it's DJ. I'm like 99.9% sure this guy's DJ. But on the last part, we have new characters. One of the characters we saw from the trailer, and I'm like, okay, we got T-Hawk's daughter character. Like, that's what I'm saying. She might not be related to T-Hawk, but she's Mexican. She's got the Mexican flag, and she's got the feather the same way T-Hawk's got it. So I don't know. It seems like she may have some relation to him. And we have some Black American girl looking like she's straight out the Bronx or something. I'm like, okay. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, if this is true, I'm like, we got a roster. And like I said, everyone's got that street flavor to them. Everyone's giving off that vibe.
Right. So it looks promising right now. I'm looking forward to seeing more, especially gameplay. I'm looking more, forward to seeing game and how the new abilities work, because they have, I think it's called dive, like dive parry and dive something else. And it's because this is replacing like the V trigger stuff. And so I kind of want to see how that stuff works, because it sounds like you're not going to be able to parry all the time. Like, you have to build up something to be able to parry, or at least build it up to be able to parry supers and stuff like that, via the trailer and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting the ends on it. Hopefully there's a beta or some type of, demo we can play, kind of get our hands wet and see how it is.
Yeah, so when that demo comes out, I'm hoping, I'm kind of sad. I hope this leak ain't real, because these character designs are fire, like straight fire. So I'm like, if it don't look like this, I'm like, y'all need to hire whoever drew these leaks up.
Right.
But yeah, man, like you said, there's still a lot of unknown. But I am a big fan when game companies could be like, yo, our last title project in the series probably wasn't the best. We probably did something. But when they come back with some straight heat, and I think this is what Capcom's doing, I don't know what the story is on Street Fighter V fully. I don't know why it rolled out the way it did. I don't know if console exclusivity had anything to do with it. But, that's something else. This game has already been confirmed to be on PlayStation and Xbox. I assume PC. I don't know if they said that or not. But if it's coming to PlayStation,
yeah, it's on
Xbox,
PC.
Okay, then yeah. So, we got the usual suspects. So, I'm not going to lie to you, man. With Street Fighter V, like, that was going to be my game. Because I've always been very average at Street Fighter. And if anyone knows fighting games, average basically means it's very close to trash, honestly, if I'm being honest. And Street Fighter 4, I got like slightly above average. I never there was a certain barrier I never broke through. Again, like the ink style, like the focus moves, like I never mastered focus dash and cancel. It just wasn't the system I jived with. But I was like, you know what? I remember when Smash Ultimate came, I was like, you know, I'm gonna be a top tier Smash player, at least like on like non-tournament play. You know, I set out that for myself goal, and I feel like I accomplished that. You know, got Smash Elite. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got to, you know, I trained with some people, went to meetups, got to the point where, like, you know, if I went to any Evo tournament, I could probably place, you know. And then so I was like, you know, I'm gonna do that with Street Fighter Five. Like, I don't remember which one came out, but I had the same mentality, and I was just like, bro, I can't. This game's not all there. But now the fire's back. Street Fighter 6, I'm like, all right, the same thing I did with Smash Ultimate. I kind of fell off a little bit. I need to get it back in the ring. But yeah, I want to considerably get better. I want to like be able to walk up to like, you know, some little meetup wherever, and people are like, oh man, you got next? I'm like, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be on these sticks for a hot minute.
Word.
Yeah, but keeping things rolling on. You know, we rolling into Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Frontier, and people, let's be frank, we already know Sonic games ain't been so great. I don't care what no one says. I rock with Adventure 1. I rock with Adventure 2. Sonic Heroes is cool. I'm not the biggest fan of Sonic Colors. Sonic Colors, again, coming back full circle to what you said earlier, Sonic Colors is a good game because everything had just been so trash up until that point. It was like, oh, a Sonic game that's functional, therefore it's good. Like, I'm serious. That's where I'm at with Sonic Colors. I'm like, I don't know if I really like this game, but yes, if you compare it to '06, if you compare it to Black Knight, if you compare it to Unleashed, which I get people like the day stages are cool. I'm actually on the opinion the day stages are okay, but then you play the night stages and that just makes the game just trash. Like I didn't even beat the game. It got to the point where I was like, bro, I'm forcing myself. I'm not doing this. There's other stuff I could be playing. I can YouTube the last boss. It ain't worth it. You know, we got Generations, and to me, Generations was cool. It was cool, you know. I always tell people, like, I don't know if I can say Generations was good, but it's definitely cool. Basically, my point is Sonic has been in this state of ambiguity where it's just like, you know, if you can run from point A to point B, apparently that qualifies as good. But, you know, Sonic Frontiers is doing the open world thing. It's taking something that was never open world, never thought to be open world, making it open world. And man, what do you think based off what we've seen so far from gameplay and all that, man? How you feeling on this?
Bruh. Okay. I'm trying to like it, but and I said this on Twitter, it reminds me of the videos that you see on YouTube where someone takes a retro character and puts it in like a 4K, you know, rendered environment and like, yo, wouldn't this be dope if? That's what it looks like. Because it feel, and I haven't played, so I feel it doesn't feel like a Sonic game at all. It looks very slow. It looks very like plot from here to there. Even when he's doing the thing, like he's running around enemies to like, I guess, cause the wind underneath them to like pop them up.
Oh yeah, like he has like
really
some new power mechanic that I assume central to the game. Yeah,
right. And it's slow. I'm like, anything, make it automated. Like as soon as he activates this ability, he just spins around them really quickly and they pop up. So you're not controlling it. It looks like I don't want to fight any enemies in his world. Like the way the fighting looks right now, I don't want any parts of that. They take too long to die. And yeah, I'm just not. The more I see of it, the less I want to play. To be frank. And like you were saying, has been a lot of good Sonic games. I did like Sonic Mania. I thought it was a little too long, but I did like Sonic Mania. There was the one before that I liked was on the DS. I forgot the name of it. Where they introduced Blaze, and then
Sonic Rush.
That,
I was talking about that the other day. Sonic Rush.
Yeah, Sonic Rush.
Shout out to
dope.
Blaze. I appreciate that. You're a real one.
Right, and then before that, it was the old school Sonics, and I'm not even. To be fair, so everybody knows where I stand. I'm not a big 3D Sonic fan. When that came out, the Sonic Adventures came out on the Dreamcast. I thought they looked great, but there was this weird disconnect with Sonic in the real world. And we saw how it could work in movies, and I guess that's vision, right? But in terms of gameplay, I felt like I was on rails. I felt like it just didn't feel like Sonic. And even though the 2D, you're not really going places outside of that environment, but it felt very restrictive, even though the world was open. this case, the world is open and I feel restricted in terms of speed. This should be the only open world game where you don't need fast travel, like at all. Like Sonic should be
I
like, and you know what I mean? Like he should be gone. And
feel
a
that.
lot of it was like kind of like do what's over here, over there. Like that works for Kirby. It does not work for Sonic. It just doesn't.
I feel that. I feel that. And there was a Twitter discourse. That's one of the words of 2022 apparently. Twitter
Right.
discourse. Man, bro, like we ain't here for that this episode, but and people are like, man, was it the person playing the game? Was it them, trying to, get those good angles and stuff? And I was like, man, I don't know. I'm not even gonna be like, oh, that person who was showing it off sucked. And I'm just like, I just really hope they really were just trying to be methodical just so we can see what's going on. Because like you said, if the game truly plays at that clip, if you're fighting the eyeball monster robot thing and it takes,
Right.
if that's how the fight goes, legit goes, come like this could just be, some alpha footage or something. But
Right.
I'm like, but yes, if the fights really play out like that in real time, if you're moving like this in real time, because I get it, it could if you were just like without, as like you say, you gotta feel and play a game, and in
Mm.
some games they don't look appealing watching. But if you're playing, it's a whole different story. I tell my
Right.
lady friend all the time, she's like, "Oh, I want to watch you play this game." I'm like, and I was telling her, there's some games you could watch me play, and it'll be good for you. But there's other games like if you ain't playing, it's gonna be looking like I'm just doing stuff at random. Like, you
Facts.
ain't, you're not understanding the technique, or like when I do something cool, you don't understand why it was cool. You're just like, yeah,
Right.
you just did. So I'm hoping that's the case. It's like, cause yeah, man, it's like. I don't know. It's still early. It's still early. We're just getting
Hmm.
these. I mean, because honestly, what we've seen so far seems to be basically in the same area. Clearly this open world, I assume, is some kind of big.
Right.
With varied landscapes. I'm assuming you're not in a green forest the entire game. There's a
Right.
lot of unknowns, but like you said, what I saw did not make me hype,
No.
and
And
that's just
it's
the end all be all of that.
and I can't because I saw people kind of commenting on, who was playing and, commenting about IGN being the IGN first and how they are doing this drip feed of information. And to be honest, it's not on them, it's whoever's given. And so if they're given the footage or they're allowed to play only snippets, you can't show this, you can show that, you're not going to get but so much. And Sega is doing this. This is what Sega wants people to see. And so they're gonna go through and show you how fights work and how they look. It's not gonna be someone who's like, I need to go from point A to B. It's gonna be someone who's like, let me show him this fight. Let me show him this fight. Let me show it from different angles. So you're gonna get that. At the same time, you want to make sure that it looks fun. That it looks like at any point when you're demoing something, and this is not, I'm not a dev, but at any point you're demoing something, it should be one of those things where the person beside you is waiting for the controller. Like as soon as you're done, they're like, "Ooh, can I try that? Because that looks fun." You know what I mean? And if it doesn't have that vibe, something is amiss. There's a disconnect between you and the person watching, because it's a video game at the end of the day, and we want to have onto something. I don't know, a different genre of game. I don't want to say like walking simulator because that's disrespectful, but something along the lines, or like a Telltale game. You don't really need the controller for that. You can understand from a story, standpoint. But something like Sonic, like as soon as you see Sonic or Mario, you should want to play. That's it. And this, I was like, I don't want to play this, especially after playing the new Kirby game, especially after playing Elden Ring. And not to say that it has to be those games, but looking at them, I wanted to play. Just looking at what was being shown at any point in time, I want to play it. When Sonic, the first video came out, and I was like, yeah. And then the combat came out, and I was like, nope. Nope. So I hope, and like you said, it's still early. Hopefully things will change, and is notorious for changing. We saw that when Twitter went bananas, and Sonic changed visually for the film. We know that Sonic can change, so hopefully that's the case here.
Yeah. One thing I think is interesting is how we're breaking down these videos. It's kind of like exploration, fighting, combat. And I wonder, is this gonna lead up? Is the last video gonna be like, all right, this is Sonic just going ham, like you said, like they're saying like why would Sonic ever need fast travel? And it's like him just covering a crazy distance and what you like you said, something makes you think like, oh man, I want to play that. And because I told myself this game can suck, quote unquote, like thematically, story wise, like all that could be bad. But if the game makes it to where, let's say, like, you open the island wherever the hell you are, you open it up, or post game or whatever, and you get to a point where you can just explore, and I'm like, and if running around really fast in the open world is just fun, I would be okay with that. It would be like, yeah, I have to do story stuff, but because there's games I always tell people that's just kind of fun to exist in. You're not necessarily doing anything. Like, GTA is the perfect example. I'm not doing a story mission. I'm not earning money. I am just existing in this world. And, GTA does it in such a way to where literally that's all some people will do. Of course, they'll be like, well, crap, I have to do some story stuff to just kind of like progress, or I'm going to get stuck doing it at some point. But I know there's plenty of people who will literally just cut on GTA. Now, I'm not talking about GTA Online people, literally just base game, single player GTA, and just go off in a direction and just do stuff for hours and just be like, all right, cool, I'm good.
Right.
No purpose.
Exactly. I hope that's the case. I mean, and because there's plenty of games that are bad that I play because it's cool to be that character or cool to be in that environment. And so Sonic seems like an easy win in that regard, because if he's not on rails and he's free to run, just running to a mountain somewhere would be dope. You know what I mean? Like going from A to B would be really, really dope. And I hope they do that. I hope they show that type of gameplay, so we can, like, you know what? Even all this stuff looks kind of but just running, the feeling of speed with Sonic, if they nail that, I'm pretty sure you'll get some people on board.
Yeah, and one of the things, this is like my dream list. I'm not a dev or worked on the game, but just secrets. So let's say you get to be, you can run on water, you can do things, but you can't hit and mess up. I'm like, it would be so cool. Like there's just things to get to that maybe it's just a secret, like whatever you get it. Like I don't even care what it is, but just getting there, like skilled based running. Like I gotta run on the water. Of course I can't mess. I gotta wall jump here, do this, do that. I try, and just that that euphoric feeling like, dang man, I just parkoured. There's to get to this thing, I gotta like parkour half the island perfectly, and I did that. And I'll be like, yeah man, that's like you said, we just want that feeling of speed, because I was thinking about Infamous Second Son. You eventually get this power of like neon, and then you could like it's like you run really fast. I assume you're running at the speed of light. But that game, I always felt like that game made you feel like you were fast, like you're running up buildings, you're jumping and doing stuff. And Infamous, like overall, was really good at making you feel like a superpowered human. But like in a real world, it wasn't like, okay, like where you're like, okay, you're Superman. Like, no, it felt like, grounded, like, yeah, I'm superpowered, but like, I'm still existing in this world, and there's caveats. And I feel like since Infamous, no game for me has really captured that feeling of like, yeah, I'm in this open world, I have superpowers, but not like where it's like Marvel's Avengers, where it's just like, well, I'm just like, yeah, I'm just here. Okay, I like Spider-Man. Okay. Infamous is Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry, people. I remember Spider-Man. Don't come at me angry. Corrected that mistake. But those two games, Spider-Man, again, being the perfect example. You can just go, like, oh, I'm not about to do no story missions, or maybe I'm already in the post game and I can just swing around New York for maybe an hour until I get bored, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's basic mechanic of the swing. Just swinging back and forth as Miles was amazing. You know what I mean? And it didn't lead up to anything. It wasn't like a big reveal or boss fight or anything like that. I think of Crackdown. One of the major things about Crackdown was collecting all the orbs, because it was fun to do. It was fun to jump not over buildings, but jump up and grab buildings and constantly parkour your way up. You know what I mean? And see how high you get. Like, just the movement was like really big in that game. So you can expect, like, well, Sonic, this is obvious. Like, you've got to make the movement feel good in a Sonic game. Like, he's all about speed. He does what Nintendo don't. So let him do that. Let him do that all across the, what I'm saying? Like, or what would be dope too would be if he had timed missions. Think about it. In order to get this, Chaos Emerald or whatever the case may be, you need to get, from this point to this point, avoid all the obstacles, avoid the enemies, and you're zooming, and like there's a clock that's winding down. Like, it's perfect. That spells Sonic right there. You know what I mean? So I think that it's still early. We still have a long time, before we actually get to the point where it's, people can purchase and whatnot. And hopefully we'll see more, and what we see will be better. But right now, I'm like, it doesn't, if you're going to bring Sonic into the world, there has to be a reason to do so, I think. We can't transition to open world for the sake of it. If we look at like Mario Odyssey and how open that was comparatively to the other 3D Marios, which is, again, I'm not a fan of those. I'm more so the 2D guy. Mario Odyssey did an amazing job with what it was trying to do. There was a reason Mario was there. The same feeling with Sonic.
Man, I guess that's a perfect summary. Like, I never really, thought of it in those terms. Like, yeah, we need a reason why Sonic is here, not just like this is a world that anyone like knows. This, it feels like this, this world should have been made for Sonic, and,
right? Exactly.
And I didn't even think about this, but when you say Chaos Emerald, I'm like, okay, bro, if I can't go Super Sonic and just be, up until my 50 rings right now, like, I'm like, bro, because like you said, that should be easy. I should be able to, once, story wise, maybe becoming Super Sonic is in game stuff, post game stuff, bro. I should be able to be like, bro, it's in my mind, it should be one of those like defining moments of gaming or of a series or a genre, and be like, bro, everyone remembers the first time going Super Sonic and Sonic Frontiers. It should be of that level. Like, bro, you don't forget that. Like, it should just be a wow factor. One of those things that, like, bro, like sometimes I'll go back just to get that feeling. And,
right.
And, and of course, I know with these expectations, we raise the bar, we're putting it high. One could even say, quote unquote, setting ourselves up for failure. But Sonic is one of those franchises where I feel like, as a gamer, again, not a publisher and stuff, but just like as a fan of the medium, as a paying customer who, will gladly spend any amounts of money for a good game, especially if a series I love. I'm just like, there's so many series that don't see the light of day that people want to come back. People don't even care if it's good. Really, just, series people long for, that, new and old. And I feel like Sonic is in the fortunate position to have never fallen off so hard where we've never seen him. He's always been around in some way, shape, or form, whether, in an RPG, on the DS, imagine in many different ways. And they've been, like you said, just not that well received. And I'm like, bro, I feel like out of respect of games, series, genres, characters that will never get this chance again, may never get this chance again, you really just got to go all out with the Blue Blur. You got to, it got to be a reason he's still here. Because, Mario, we know it's going to slap. Zelda, we know it's going to slap. Other games that, Metroid came back, it's slapped. And I'm like, Sonic is not in a position to be like, okay, sometimes I slap it, but bro, you haven't been slapping, period.
And, you are slapless.
Yeah, so it's just like, man, bro, like I'm tired personally of being like, this is a good Sonic game by comparison. Like, I want it to be like, this is a good game. I don't need to have to preface it, asterisk it, put it by comparison. Like, no, I just need it to be like, it's not like I go, oh, Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door is good for like, no, it's just a good game. It is. I don't have to compare it to anything for it to be a good game, because it is. Sorry, Church. I'll calm down.
I mean, and it makes sense because this is the biggest Sonic has been. With the movies and stuff. He's had, cartoons and things of that nature, and he's been huge before, but he has 2 hit movies right now. Like, fam, this is the time to quote unquote cash in. And you want to make sure that your first step back into this, limelight outside of like a Smash Brothers or something like that, where it's just you, then you nail it. Like like I wouldn't even this again, I'm not in marketing or anything like that, but I wouldn't even build up the hype for Sonic until I was like, we got something solid. And I hope that's what's happening, that we're just getting a drip feed because they think that this potentially will build hype for the good stuff that we're gonna show. Like when we finally unveil everything. But if it's not, it's like, come on, man, like this is not how no, don't do that. Like Sonic is finally got his good pair of shoes on, and you just gonna take him away. Like, come on, fam.
Oh man, you heard it here, folks. Sonic finally got his good pair of shoes on. We gotta keep that momentum rolling. But man, Kim, I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining me, talking to me, getting passionate with me. Man, where can the people find you, keep up with you, see what you're doing, all that good stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely follow me on Twitter at KennyUFG. Also on Twitch, and please, if you can, follow my podcast at The Gamecast One.
Yep. All right, people. All those links are going to be in the description below, whether you're on YouTube, your favorite podcasting app. So basically, go check out my man stuff. Give him a follow, give him a listen, all that good stuff. As always, I'm Odo Harmon Jr. You can find me at Odo Harmon Jr. on all your favorite social media. You can find the podcast at FC Podcast 23 on Twitter and Instagram if you want to write something. But in that, Full Circle Podcast on all your favorite podcast providers. Thank you for rocking me. And as always, everyone, have a great week and be blessed. Peace.